Our thanks to Miss Lucy and to our panelists for such an insightful panel, ladies and gentlemen. The map is still being drawn in the first day of our summit, and with the map we continue, as we will be welcoming to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Dara Latuo, the One Young World Ambassador, to introduce the keynote and panel for this upcoming session. Let us all make a welcome, shall we? Very welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and huge welcome to this panel session, which seeks to examine how educational systems of the future can incorporate in-demand skills so that we have a future-ready workforce that is willing and able to tackle the challenges of tomorrow. Acting as your moderator for this session is, as is on the screen, myself, Dara Latuo. By way of very brief introduction, I am a One Young World Ambassador, which is a British-based but globally focused organization with the aim of connecting and empowering young leaders from across the world. More generally, I'm a digital transformation consultant and with specific focus on the intersection between technology, strategy, and human capital. So as someone grappling with the thorny issue of the future of work day to day, I will be an avid listener as well as a moderator of this upcoming panel. But first, it gives me great pleasure to welcome to our screen Saadia Zahidi, who is the Managing Director of the World Economic Forum, to lead us into the session with a keynote speech that should helpfully set the scene. As she is also the head of the forum's Center for New Economy and Society, she is perfectly placed to help us plunge into this topic of work, skills, youth empowerment. So, without further ado, Saadia, the screen and stage is yours.
Hi, Dara. Great to be with you. Wonderful to join all of you, although unfortunate to be doing this virtually. But I think the fact that we can all get connected in this way for this event is also an example of what we can learn from in terms of the whole of system change that's required all the way from education through to labor markets. As you just mentioned, the World Economic Forum has been looking at job disruption for quite some time. And at this moment, there are three areas that are driving that disruption. There is, of course, the fourth industrial revolution and all of the changes that technology have been creating in labor markets, and both the opportunities and the challenges that that generates. The second is, of course, the pandemic-induced disruption, and not just to our physical places of learning and of working, but also what that has done to completely redraw the map of various industry sectors and how that changes where future demand from labor markets comes from. And then, of course, the third area, which is the green transition. And as the world moves towards a net zero economy, that is, of course, going to create changes both in sectors which will be on the decline, as well as sectors that will be rising as the green economy grows. We need preparation for all three disruptions. And while for some time there has been a focus on developing more digital skills in education, it's also very clear that more systemic changes need to take place, not just in terms of the delivery of education, but also the content of education to prepare for these three disruptions, and frankly, for the other risks and changes that are on the global landscape that we need to be preparing for. Now, the good news is that even in the midst of all this change, we are expecting more jobs to grow rather than to decline. So the net will still be positive. However, the preparation for those new types of roles is likely to be incredibly different than anything we've seen so far. Not only will there be roles that apply a lot more technology, but there are also going to be many more roles that have more human-centered traits. And that is why the World Economic Forum is launching the Education 4.0 initiative with the support of Dubai Cares and many other stakeholders gathered with you today to try to ensure that we can change both the delivery and the content. In addition, we're working on the reskilling revolution and invite all of you to join these two efforts to ensure that the public sector and the private sector are actually working together on both the education side of the changes that are required, as well as what needs to change in the labor market. In particular, on the labor market, we are aiming to work with employers to change fully the taxonomy that we use around skills so that education systems and employers can talk to each other, working with individuals who are entering the labor market so that they can use new online learning tools and models, working with governments to close existing skills gaps and to leave the systems in place that actually allow others to continue to have lifelong learning, and finally, to make more diverse labor markets. We look forward to working with all of you and invite you to join these efforts. Thank you.